Well, a year ago, our next guest was unceremoniously sacked from the cabinet by ruthless Theresa May, reportedly told to demonstrate loyalty from the backbenches.
But following the Conservative Party's rather disappointing election result, Michael Gove has been brought back into the cabinet. He takes up the position of Environment Secretary, and he's with us now. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You learned loyalty very quickly, Mr. Gove.
Well, Piers, like yourself, I've had various ups and downs in my career, but it's a privilege to be back in the cabinet. It's a particular privilege to be doing this job. Our environment is one of our country's greatest assets, and we need to not just preserve but enhance it. But also, it's great to be part of Theresa May's team, because I think that the Prime Minister deserves all our support at this point in making sure that we can press ahead with governing the country well.
Lots of people were scratching their heads at your inclusion in the cabinet because she did sack you, and she suggested that you'd been disloyal. Do you know why you were brought back in? I mean, you've presumably got a public reason why, but one of the reasons, Labour Deputy Leader Tom Watson has written to the Prime Minister asking whether Rupert Murdoch was involved in the decision to bring you back. He says, "I'm writing to ask you about any influence Rupert Murdoch may have sought to exert over cabinet appointments." You, of course, were rehired by Rupert Murdoch as a writer at the Times when you were sacked. Do you think he had anything to do with the fact you're back in government?
No, I think, Tom Watson's a great guy, but I think that he thinks Rupert Murdoch is behind who plays for England, who's selected as Arsenal manager, who gets to appear on Britain's Got Talent.
I wish he was behind who's Arsenal manager.
But I think the thing with Tom is that he's playing a game of political mischief here, and that's fair enough. That's what Labour deputy leaders are there to do.
But you haven't denied it.
Well, I absolutely will deny it, because it's the Prime Minister's choice as to who serves in her government, and I think the thing is that I don't want to be what's the word, disobliging towards Tom, but I think his imagination's run away with him here.
Caroline Lucas from the Green Party says you're absolutely the worst possible choice to be running the environment because of your views on climate change, which she says are very dubious, and apparently you even attempted to remove it from a national curriculum when you were Education Secretary. What is your reaction to her?
Well, that's not true, but I can entirely forgive Caroline. Again, politicians sometimes want to make partisan points, and they don't always necessarily look at the record. As far back as 2004, I argued for stronger action to deal with climate change, and when I was Education Secretary, it's not just the case that I strengthened the position of climate change in the curriculum. I also ensured that we had more natural history, more emphasis in the geography curriculum, people understanding and spending time out in the environment. It was also the case that I came up with a school food plan, which made sure not only that we improved the quality of school lunches, but also that children developed an understanding of where our food came from, and that we also had a greater emphasis on sustainability.
But that's got nothing to do with climate change, though, has it? School food.
Our environment is critically, not just critical though it is, making children aware of the scientific basis of man-made climate change, but also a range of other things as well. And I was clear, as I say, in 2004, that we needed to do more to deal with man-made climate change. And I also gave a speech when I was Education Secretary to the Conservative Environment Network in 2014, in which, again, I underlined the vital importance of dealing with climate change.
So is President Trump absolutely wrong to pull America out of the Paris Accords?
Yes.
Unequivocally?
Yes.
Do you get any of his argument that he believes that a lot of the stuff involved in that deal is just PR, it won't make any difference, it's very expensive?
No, I think he's wrong. I think that we need international cooperation in order to deal with climate change, and I think that the Paris Accord, which my friend Amber Rudd had a huge role in helping to shape, is a significant step forward. The only way in which we can deal with this challenge, the only way in which we can enhance the environment and pass it on to our children in a better state, is by working across borders.
Why did you, on 5 occasions between 2012 and 2016, vote against measures to tackle climate change?
Well, I voted very strongly in favour of measures that were brought forward by the government to ensure that we could fight climate change more effectively. I voted with the government throughout. I think that...
You voted 3 times for measures and 5 times against. The most recently, last year, Michael Gove, this is according to They Work For You website, Michael Gove voted not to reduce the permitted carbon dioxide emission rate of new homes.
I think you'll find that each of those occasions I was voting with the government whip, and on all of those occasions I was voting with the advice that the relevant government ministers were given by their experts in the field. It's sometimes the case that opposition politicians will come up with ideas which they think help the environment. They don't always. Sometimes pressure groups make the case that these policies are a good idea, and sometimes they're not always the right approach.